Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS, presenting to you the daily quiz for 4th of March 2022. Let us begin and have a look at the first question for today. Who among the following set up the Balhatya Pratibandhak Griha? Option A, Rajaram Mohan Roy. Option B, Ramabai Ranade. Option C, Tarabai Shinde. Option D, Savitribai Phule. Why this question? An article in the Hindu newspaper today has a mention of this social reformer, and hence we've taken this question. See, Savitribai Phule is widely known as India's first generation modern feminists. Let us now learn more about her contributions. Savitribai Phule worked towards ensuring equal education opportunities during the British Raj. And that is why she is considered one among India's first generation modern feminists. She, along with her husband Jyotiba Phule, opened a school for girls. She is also regarded as the first female teacher in India. Later on, Balhatya Pratibandhak Griha was also set up by Savitribai Phule. This was set up to support rape victims, pregnant women, and also crack down on female infanticide, and hence the name Balhatya Pratibandhak Griha. Therefore, the right answer to our question would be option D, Savitribai Phule. Another point to remember is that she opened a clinic to treat those affected by the worldwide pandemic of bubonic plague when the plague appeared in the area around Pune in the year 1897. To know more about Satyashodak Samaj, where Savitribai Phule played a prominent role in achieving equal rights for marginalized lower castes, and also to know more about her husband Jyotiba Phule, watch our lecture on this social reformer, that is Mahatma Phule, in our biography series. The link will appear on the top right corner of your screens. Moving on to question number 2. Consider the following statements with respect to Quad. The idea of Quad was first mooted by Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe in the year 2007. All the Quad members are the members of Indian Ocean Rim Association or IORA. All the Quad members first participated in the Malabar exercise in 2020. Which of the given statements is or are incorrect? Why have we taken this question? According to this article in the Hindu newspaper today, the Quad Summit was hosted by President of the US and was attended by the leaders of the other 3 member countries, that is India, Japan and Australia. See, in this summit, the Quad leaders took part to announce a new mechanism for humanitarian assistance in the Indo-Pacific region and also to discuss the impact of Ukraine crisis on this region. Let us learn more about Quad as we discuss the answer. After the Indian Ocean tsunami, India, Japan, Australia and the US created an informal alliance. And this informal alliance was created to collaborate and also assist each other in disaster relief. Then in the year 2007, the Prime Minister of Japan first mooted out the idea of Quad. So statement number 1 is correct. And then it was termed as the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue or Quad. However, it was only in the year 2017, India, the US, Australia as well as Japan gave shape to this long pending Quad coalition. Now coming to statement number 2. See, this Indian Ocean Rim Association is an intergovernmental organization that was formed to strengthen the regional cooperation as well as sustainable development within the Indian Ocean region. And it is an international body that comprises of coastal countries that border the Indian Ocean. So here, while India and Australia are members of IORA, the other 2 members of the Quad, that is the US and the Japan, are not its members. So statement number 2 becomes incorrect. Coming to statement number 3. This is quite tricky. The Malabar exercise started off as a bilateral exercise between India and the US in the year 1992. Japan and Australia first participated in this exercise in the year 2007. So, 2020 was not the first time that all the Quad members participated in this exercise, so this statement also becomes incorrect. Therefore, the right answer to our question would be option A, 2 and 3 only, because the question is asking us for incorrect statements. Though this Malabar exercise began in 1992, after 1996 there was a break in this exercise till 2002. And since then, that is since 2002, it has been conducted every year. Japan joined as a permanent member of this exercise in the year 2015. So in this year, Malabar exercise became a trilateral exercise, and in the year 2020, for the first time in over a decade, Australia joined the exercise and all the Quad navies were seen together in action. But this was not the first time that all the Quad members came together in Malabar exercise. Now let us take up question number 3. Consider the following statements with respect to United Nations Environment Assembly or UNEA. It is hosted by the United Nations Environment Programme. It is the world's highest level decision-making body on the environment. It was created in 2012 during the Rio Plus 20 negotiations. Which of the given statements are incorrect? What is the context? At the 5th United Nations Environment Assembly, 175 countries have adopted a resolution on plastic pollution. See, this plastic pollution is recognized as a global environmental challenge. So, India, along with the other member countries, is trying to develop a consensus on the resolution for driving global action on this plastic pollution. And since this PIB article talks about the UNEA, where a historic resolution on plastic pollution was adopted, we've taken this question. Let us learn more about UNEA as we discuss the answer. United Nations Environment Assembly is world's highest level decision-making body on the environment. This body addresses critical environmental challenges that faces the world at present. Also note that UNEA is hosted by the United Nations Environment Programme. Therefore, statement number 1 as well as statement number 2 becomes correct. Why? Because it is the world's highest level decision-making body on the environment and also it is hosted by UNEP. So here we can strike out option C and option A. Now coming to statement number 3. This body, that is the United Nations Environment Assembly, was created in June 2012 during the Rio Plus 20 summit. Therefore, statement number 3 is also correct. Therefore, the right answer to our question would be option D, none of the above, because none of the above statements are incorrect. Moving on to question number 4. Consider the following statements with respect to SVAMITVA scheme. Number 1, the scheme is piloted by the Ministry of Rural Development. Number 2, under the scheme, residential land in villages will be measured using drones to create non-disputable record. Number 3, under the scheme, property card for every property in the village will be prepared by states. Which of the given statements is or are correct? What is the context? This article in the PIB today talks about the role of geospatial knowledge in transforming India. And this very same article has a reference to the SVAMITVA scheme, and that is why we have this question. This SVAMITVA scheme was launched in the year 2020 on the Panchayati Raj Divas or the Panchayati Raj Day. The primary aim of this scheme is to map the residential land ownership in the rural sector by using modern technology, for example, the use of drones. It is believed that this will revolutionize property record maintenance in India. And this scheme was piloted by the Panchayati Raj Ministry, so statement number 1 becomes incorrect. As we already discussed, this scheme aims at managing the residential land ownership. So under this scheme, the residential land in the villages will be measured using drones so that a non-disputable record can be created. Therefore, statement number 2 is correct. Coming to statement 3. Yes, the states will prepare a property card for every property in the village using accurate measurements that is delivered by drone mapping. Therefore, statement number 3 is also correct. So this brings us to our answer, that is option B, 2 and 3 only. Now let us take up a previous year question from Prelims paper 2020. With reference to scholars or literators of ancient India, consider the following statements. Number 1, Panini is associated with Pushyamitra Shunga. Number 2, Amarasimha is associated with Harshavardhana. Number 3, Kalidasa is associated with Chandragupta II. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? In this question, statement number 1 is incorrect. Why? Because Panini, the author of Ashtadhyayi, belonged to 5th to 6th century BCE. And Pushyamitra Shunga belonged to the post-Mauryan period, that is 2nd century BCE. This eliminates option A and D. Now, statement 2 is also incorrect because Amarasimha belonged to the court of Chandragupta II, where he, along with Kalidasa, was one of the Navaratnas. So, option B is also eliminated. Therefore, we've arrived at our answer, which is option C, 3 only. Yes, Kalidasa is associated with Chandragupta II. Here's a task for you for today. The task is to let me know who were the Navaratnas in the court of Chandragupta II. Let me know your answers in the comment section. Now let us take up the fact of the day for today, which is International Criminal Court. Why have we taken up this organization for discussion? There is a mention of the ICC in today's Indian Express newspaper. See, this International Criminal Court or ICC is an intergovernmental organization and international tribunal that is headquartered in The Hague. And this is the first permanent international criminal court in the world. So what does ICC do? International Criminal Court is involved in investigating and trying people charged with serious and grave crimes. What sort of serious and grave crimes, you may ask? That is, crimes such as genocide, crimes such as crimes against humanity, war crimes, and also the crimes of aggression. This intergovernmental organization aims to prevent crimes from happening through proper dispensation of justice. So does it intend to replace national courts? No, it only intends to complement them. Please note that this tribunal is governed by an international statute known as the Rome Statute. This was the statute that was entered into force in July 2002. Please note that India is not a party to the Rome Statute along with the US and China. Therefore, India is not a member to ICC. This Rome Statute grants the ICC jurisdiction over 4 main crimes. That is, number 1, crime of genocide. Number 2, crime against humanity. Number 3, crimes of aggression. Number 4, war crimes. Now, if we have to talk about war crimes, as mentioned in this article, war crimes are defined as serious violations of humanitarian laws during a conflict. And this definition, established by the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, is derived from the 1949 Geneva Conventions. And the definition of war crime is based on the idea that individuals can be held liable for their actions of a state or its military as well. So when these ICC prosecutors have a reason to believe that a war crime has been committed, they start an investigation to find the evidence that could point to a specific individual that was responsible for those crimes. However, there are some limitations to this organization. What are those? Number 1, it does not have retrospective jurisdiction. It can only and only deal with crimes that were committed after 1st of July 2002, that is when the Rome Statute came into force. Number 2, it does not have its own enforcement body. That is why it relies on cooperation with other countries. A final fact for you to remember here is that ICC is not a UN organization. However, it has a cooperation agreement with the United Nations. That is all for today. Thank you for being with us. Keep watching and keep learning.